Dogs and humans have a truly amazing bond. Astonishing abilities, companionship and utter loyalty make dogs our best friends. In this series, we investigate the surprising science behind these impressive beings. From rescue dogs, to fire dogs, to the dog next door. What makes dogs so extraordinary? In The Mystery of Healing, we examine dogs' extraordinary ability to help cure us. We have long recognized how dogs can lift our spirits, but can they do more than that? We meet Max, who saved his owner Maureen's life by seemingly detecting her breast cancer.
I looked across at Max and into his eyes, and I instantly knew there was something seriously wrong and I had cancer.
Nepal, who transformed former soldier Jason's life when he was left wheelchair-bound.
The magic that dogs have, they just can put a smile on your face no matter what you're feeling.
And Maybe, who acts as a life-saving early warning system for her owner Christine's recurrent and sudden seizures.
Goh, ik kan echt niet zijn hoeveel. Ze me een rustig weergeven van hetgeen dat ik kwijt was aan.
This is Extraordinary Dogs. Collie Cross Max is no ordinary dog to Maureen Burns.
Max has changed my life.
2 years ago, Maureen noticed that the normally energetic Max became withdrawn and started acting out of character.
He wouldn't come and sit next to me, wouldn't sit on my lap. He wouldn't come and sit near me in the car. He wasn't happy being with me. And then he'd come up and sniff my breath, and then he'd touch my breast.
Max's unusual behaviour prompted Maureen to examine herself.
I was examining myself in the mirror, and I looked across at Max and into his eyes, and I instantly knew there was something seriously wrong and I had cancer.
However, although initial examinations at the hospital didn't reveal anything, Maureen was eventually diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was told that the particular cancer that I had could not be detected on mammograms or scans. It was at stage 2, which covers 2 centimetres to 5 centimetres in size, and mine was at 2.5.
The case supports growing evidence that some breeds appear to have the ability to sniff out diseases like cancer. And it's perhaps surprising that Maureen's astonishing story is not that unusual. Doctors are keen to learn more. Carol Sikora is one of the UK's leading cancer specialists.
I think dogs can detect cancer, there's no doubt about it. I think the baseline experiment works nearly every time. How useful this can be, though, is another question, and that really requires quite a lot of painstaking work to find out. Not just making the connection, but actually using it for the gain of patients later on.
Maureen has now made a full recovery, and Max is certainly back to his old self. Her story has come as no surprise to UK charity Cancer and Biodetection Dogs. The charity, based here in Buckinghamshire, is training dogs to identify the odour of human cancers. The charity has proved that dogs can reliably identify bladder cancer in human urine samples. The results of their studies have been published in the British Medical Journal.
Dogs' sense of smell is fantastic, and they can get down to parts per trillion, so a smaller amount than we can possibly imagine. And because of this, they're very, very good at picking up volatiles. These are the vapour, the smell that comes off things. And our understanding is that diseases give off volatiles.
The charity is now hoping to train dogs to use their excellent smelling capabilities to detect other cancers, such as breast, prostate and mouth cancer, to discover which have generic odours. Labrador Daisy is one of a team of 6 dogs being trained as biodetectives by Claire. The dogs sniff a cancer carousel. Each pot contains a urine sample derived from healthy people those with cancer, and those with other illnesses. As the dog smells each pot, it draws in molecules into its wet nose. This moisture helps dissolve the molecules and allows the receptor cells located in the dog's nasal cavity to pick up specific odors. Dogs have tear ducts, just like humans, that run all the way down to its nose. This helps keep their nose moist and their fantastic sense of smell working to the maximum.
Dogs have an extremely sensitive sense of smell compared to the human species. If you read the textbooks, they'll tell you that it's between 1,000 and 10,000 times. And you'll also read for certain molecules, for certain chemicals, it can be up to 100 million times more sensitive than the human nose.
And it is this complex and powerful odor detection that's helping turn dogs into lifesavers.
At the moment, the dog's detection rates on a double-blind study for bladder cancer, which is the cancer we've been training these dogs to detect, is about 60%. Now, we still have ways in which we can improve these detection rates, and we still have a hope that this work will lead to changes and developments in the way in which cancer is diagnosed.
The World Health Organization says that deaths from cancer worldwide are projected to continue rising, from approximately 10 million annual deaths at present to an estimated 12 million deaths in 2030. Early detection is a key factor to survival, and this is what the charity is trying to improve. For medical specialists, disease detection by dogs offers enormous potential for the future.
The holy grail in cancer diagnostics is to have a very cheap, simple test for everybody that tells you whether this patient sitting in front of me has cancer. Imagine just a simple blood test where you take a sample of blood or even a sample of urine and you just put it in a box and it's a yes and no answer. And that's what we'd like to see. And maybe by using the dogs in this way, we'll get to that.
If we can discover with scientists what it is that a dog uses to make its indication of cancer, then this could be used in the future by using an electronic system, an electronic nose. And potentially 10 or 15 years' time, we could all go into our doctor's surgery and give a urine sample, a breath sample, and these would be screened for the volatiles. If the volatiles were present, then obviously you'd require further tests.
Good boy.
Thanks to Max, Maureen is able to carry on with her life. She's in no doubt about the importance of continuing to develop the work of dogs like Max, to ensure others like her manage to detect cancer before it's too late.
Cancer has changed my life entirely. Max has got me through so much. He's opened up new avenues, and I owe him so much.
In the US state of Texas, another dog has done his part in transforming a person's life.
Good boy. Here's our...
Meet Nepal, an amazing dog who has brought hope into the life of former soldier Jason Morgan. Jason was a member of a special operations unit until 1999, when a severe injury in the field ended his military career.
We were in South America on a counter-narcotics mission. It was in the middle of the jungle. We parachuted in there, and mission went well. We got the guys we needed to get, and no casualties at all. Just when we thought everything was safe, on our way out, our vehicle got ambushed. There was 3 of us in the car. 2 of us will never walk again. But I'm very fortunate to be alive. I was in a coma for about 6 weeks.
It took several years for Jason to come to terms with his injuries, but his life has now been turned around, thanks to his new companion, Black Labrador Retriever Nepal.
I still have tough days, but the tough days are so much easier with having Nepal around.
For Jason, Nepal has meant he can start living again.
You know, when you work your whole life to get into the best shape you can and jumping out of airplanes for a living to a wheelchair, it's very tough. I had to wear a full, basically body brace. I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even turn over myself. And, you know, the biggest goal for me was to get my independence back. Hey, sweetheart. First year after my paralysis was just so much tougher than I ever could imagine. It was, I don't think I could put it into words how tough it was. But, you know, with Nepal, I don't think there's ever been one day that I spent the whole day in bed. And I get up and I do things and I'm happier for it.
Nepal is one of over 3,000 dogs trained by Canine Companions for Independence to assist disabled children and adults, including 44 service veterans.
Good girl.
Trainers like Lauren Rignall have allocated hundreds of dogs in recent years to servicemen and women like Jason, returning from the front line.
You guys could keep these guys nice and
A trained assistance dog becomes crucial to their physical and mental recovery.
tear chunks off of those. They come back to the States and they're learning to really relive their life, learning how to get around with a disability. Things have drastically changed for them.
Coming up in part 2, we learn about the training dogs like Nepal go through to be able to look after former soldiers. And we meet Maybe, who helps owner Christine lead a normal life, even though she suffers from violent seizures. For those who've lost their mobility, the transition to relying on others can often take quite an emotional adjustment. The dogs partnered with veterans have to be particularly well trained in order to make this transition as smooth as possible. A dog that requires little prompting and minimal attention is ideal. Dogs like Nepal will have undergone 2 years of professional training by the time they're allocated to someone like Jason. In that time, they will have learned a vocabulary of over 40 commands. Labradors are top dog in the world of assistance canines.
They are smart dogs, but on top of that, they really want to please their handler, so they will work with us to learn the very large variety of commands that we teach. Because their desire to please is so strong, they're quite easy for us to train and to work with.
Labrador puppies are considered to be good learners, a characteristic that is in part attributed to having a high level in their brain of an omega-3 fatty acid called DHA. Studies have shown that DHA can improve the memories of puppies, helping them to become successful guide or companion dogs.
We interpret Labradors as being intelligent because we've selectively bred them for the last 200 years to have an enhanced ability or willingness to do those things. For example, holding, or carrying, or bringing something back to us.
Got it. Tug it. Good boy, you got it. Come on, buddy. Tug it. Good boy. Release. Release.
For Jason, the process of learning how to utilize Nepal's abilities in order to help himself was in itself a therapeutic experience.
Got it. Good boy. Bring it to me.
Almost without him knowing, Nepal began transforming his life the moment they met. Nepal was able to help Jason towards his final goal of independence.
When I got Nepal, it was amazing things he did to help me around the house. And you know, the biggest thing Nepal does for me is retrieve objects off the ground. Release. Good. Nepal will get things out of the dryer for me when you open up. You got it. Come on. Good boy. And just sometimes we just go out and play. No more independence is probably the greatest gift you can get someone in a chair. So I've had him for almost a year now, and we're still learning. All right, Nepal, car.
It's fantastic to be able to help them work with these veterans, provide them with a tool, an amazing partner in their life that can really take away that feeling that they aren't going to be able to live a full, independent life.
And it's not just the physical struggles that Nepal helps with. Jason's emotional well-being has also changed dramatically.
I'm so much more active since I got Nepal, and that's helped me out so much. The magic that dogs have, they just can put a smile on your face no matter what you're feeling, no matter what bad mood you're in. So yeah, from an emotional standpoint, he's changed my whole life in an amazing way. Paul, push. Push, let's go. Paul, push. You got it. There you go. Down. Good boy. Give her a kiss. We go once a month to the Children's Hospital, and it's amazing. He'll get up on their lap. I volunteer also at a regular hospital, and really easy. Come on, all the way. When the patients come in for their surgery, Nepal and I greet them at the door. You know, I feel like I kind of know what some of them are going through. I've been through a lot of surgeries myself. Half bad, I guess.
Using simple commands, Nepal allows Jason to live life to the full.
But I mean, I definitely have story that people can learn from. The way I've bounced back from, you know, from a coma to where I am now. But actually it wasn't until I got in Nepal that I kind of felt like I was ready to tell my story. I mean, he just increases my spirit so much. So, I mean, what can you ask more?
For a woman in Belgium, a dog proved to be nothing short of a lifesaver. Since the Golden Labrador Maybe came to live with Christine at her home in Verregem 8 years ago, the pair have been inseparable. However, Maybe does not just follow Christine everywhere out of habit. She also has an important job to do. Maybe acts as a life-saving early warning system. Over 20 years ago, Christine was diagnosed with epilepsy, meaning she suffers from recurrent and sudden seizures.
Epilepsie heeft mijn leven echt wel heel veel veranderd. In die zin van eerst niet meer uit werken gaan. Dus je verliest je collega's, je sociaal contact. Dan niet meer met een auto rijden. En als ik eens buiten wou en het regende en ik kreeg toen een aanvaltje, dan kon ik daar makkelijk 2-3 uur liggen. Hoewel, neus gebroken, schouder uit de kom, teen gebroken, pols gebroken, al die dingen.
There is no cure for Christine's condition. Epileptic medication helps keep her seizures under control, but it's Maybe who saves her life. And it began around 9 years ago, when Christine contacted the Hachiko organization. The foundation trains assistance dogs for people with motor disabilities or those suffering from epilepsy. Caroline Thienpont is one of the co-founders of Hachiko and trains seizure response dogs.
Dogs are able to help people with epilepsy because they can help in some practical ways and prevent dangerous situations. They can do the street work where they prevent people from falling in the middle of the street. They can push an alarm button, they can get medication. They can, if they are alert dog, they can prevent people from falling in dangerous spots or hurting themselves.
Most seizure response dogs are trained to provide essential help immediately after a seizure has occurred. But a select few, like Maybe, are also able to alert their owner to an oncoming seizure before it occurs. Christine experiences tonic-clonic seizures, which means she loses consciousness and her whole body becomes stiff as her muscles tighten up. If no one's there to wake her up, she will transcend into a deep sleep.
Als er een aanval zit aan te komen, dan weet ik dat niet. Hè. En vroeger leidde dat vaak tot ongelukken. Nu, met Maybe, een tijd op voorhand. Vroeger was dat wel een uur. Nu kan dat al tot een half uur en, op voorhand. En dan begint ze heel erg mijn polsen te likken. Maar echt heel erg.
Before a seizure occurs, Maybe will lie down next to Christine.
Ik ben nogal veel buiten. Ja, buiten of binnen, dat is om te even. Maar als ik val, dan spurt ze direct naar het bureau. En daar ligt altijd een zakje op met medicatie. Die aanval duurt dus een minuutje of 2, 3. En dan... Ja, zij weet wanneer dat die aanval over is. En dan begint ze keihard te blaffen. En ze blaft door en door tot ik mij recht zet. Ze brengt dus ook mijn telefoon, moest ik niet recht kunnen. En ze doet dat echt wel van heel ver buiten.
Seizure dogs are trained to bark after a seizure because most of our clients, I think up to now all of our clients, one of the first things that comes back to them is their hearing. They don't see, they can't talk, but they hear noises. So this is very important to know, okay, my dog is with me, I probably had a seizure, but everything is good, is fine. My dog is with me.
But how can Maybe know when a seizure's going to happen, even before Christine?
There's no question that there are some dogs that can detect in their seizure-prone owners the onset of a seizure. It isn't understood whether they pick up a scent or subtle body language that suggests something is wrong, but they detect something.
Maybe also knows over 50 commands and helps Christine in her day-to-day life, giving her a sense of independence that she once thought she had lost.
Ja, vroeger ging ik niet wandelen. Ik heb zeker 20 jaar niet alleen geweest wandelen. Nu kan dat wel, omdat Maybe mij bij iedere overgang op straat tegenhoudt. Ze brengt mij altijd veilig naar de overkant. En dat is het bijzonderste, want daar ben ik bang voor. Vallen midden op straat.
And this confidence has had an impact on the frequency and intensity of the seizures themselves.
Christina's seizures are not so frequent now because she, like most people, she has less stress. She knows in advance when she's going to fall down. She doesn't have to be worried, can I do my windows, can I go out? It's a confident feeling.
Maybe heeft mijn leven veranderd. Goh, ik kan echt niet zeggen hoeveel. Ze heeft me een rustig weergegeven van hetgeen dat ik kwijt was. Eigenlijk meer dan mijn zelfstandigheid. Eigenlijk ook een stuk zelfrespect.
In the next episode, we'll explore some of the unexplained powers some dogs have and the myths that surround them. We'll join Professor Ruffman in New Zealand as he and his team explore whether dogs really can sense when their owners are down.
Dog owners, I think, are pretty much uniformly agreed that their dogs understand them.
Miniature Schnauzer Scamp, who can predict when patients at a nursing home are going to pass away.
He'd know when someone was passing away. He just had a sense that something wasn't right.
And we'll meet Peter Pongratz, who spent the past 10 years learning how dogs communicate with each other through barking.
Dogs hear the difference, and this can be the sign that this has a meaning for them.